In continuation with the part 1 video, the next topic that we are going to discuss in this video is technological application of physics. Under this heading, we'll discuss about some examples where physics and its concepts have led to discoveries or inventions. Till now, there are many such discoveries or inventions, but let me explain you few of them. The first one that I have listed here is steam engine, which is based on the law of thermodynamics. One example where the steam engine used is this train. In this engine of the train, there is a boiler, and that boiler contains water, and that water is heated by using coal or a oil. And as you know that when the water gets heated, it changes into steam, and that steam will create a very high pressure in the boiler, and it is that high pressure of the steam which will help the movement of the piston, and that piston is connected to the driving wheel, and this is how the engine of the train moves. The second technological application of physics is wireless communication. It is based on the law of electricity and magnetism. One of the very common example of wireless communication is mobile phones, where no wire is used to connect between two mobiles. Before the invention of mobile phones, people used to use these wired telephones, where the caller and the receiver are connected by a wire. And whatever the information is to be transferred between the receiver and the caller, it will be transferred through the wire which connects between the two persons. This wireless communication means communication in which the information is transferred from one device to another device which are not connected by a wire. So in mobile, without using the wire, you can connect to your friends who are very far away from you. Now the third example is rocket propulsion, which is based on Newton's law of motion. So this is a diagram showing the basic structure of the rocket. And as you know that the rocket initially is at rest, there are three Newton's law of motion. The first law describes that the rocket stay still until a force is applied to move them. Now according to the second law, if the rocket has more mass, then more force is needed to move it. So a larger rocket will need more fuel to make it accelerate. Now from the third law, which states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In this rocket, there is a combustion chamber. So in that combustion chamber, the fuel gets burned. And the hot gas from this combustion chamber will come out from the bottom of the rocket with a very high velocity, which creates a thrust in the forward direction. So this thrust helps the rocket to move upward. This is how the rocket moves forward. Now the fourth example is optical fiber, which is based on the total internal reflection of light. This is the diagram of optical fiber. It is used by many telecommunication companies to transmit telephone signal, internet communication and cable television signals. Here before transmitting the information is converted into light signal, and that light signal will enter the optical fiber at an angle greater than the critical angle and will suffer multiple total internal reflections and will reach the another end of the optical fiber. So in this way, total internal reflection is used in optical fiber to transfer information from one end to another. Now the last technological applications of physics that I have listed here is photocell, which is based on photoelectric effect. The photocell is a device that converts sunlight into electrical energy. And this kind of a gadget is very common nowadays, where we can see the solar panel which can convert the sunlight into electrical energy. The conversion of sunlight into electrical energy, we call this phenomena as photoelectric effect. Now we move on to the next topic, and the topic is fundamental forces in nature. So altogether there are 4 fundamental forces in nature. And the first fundamental force that we are going to discuss now is gravitational force. It is a force of mutual attraction between any two objects by virtue of their masses. It is a universal force, as every object experiences this force due to every other object in the universe. This gravitational force is experienced by any two objects which is within the universe. Also, it is the gravitational force of the earth which is helping us to walk freely on the surface of the earth. If there is no gravitational force of the earth, then we might be floating above the surface of the earth like in space. This is an apple tree, and the apple, if it gets detached from the tree, then it will fall to the ground. This is possible due to the gravitational force exerted by the earth on the apple. And also we know that in our solar system, Earth along with 7 other planets are revolving around the Sun. So this movement of the planets around the Sun is also due to the gravitational force which acts between the Sun and the planets. The second fundamental force in nature is electromagnetic force. It is the force between charged particles. Charges at rest have electric attraction between unlike charges and repulsion between like charges. Charges in motion produces magnetic force. Together they are called electromagnetic force. This electromagnetic force will exist between the two charges and also in the moving charges, which will produce the magnetic field. So as we know that there are two kinds of charges. One is positive charge and another one is negative charge. Now if we bring the two negative charges side by side, then they are called the like charges, and due to this the two charges will repel each other. So here both the negative charge try to repel each other. They are running from each other. And similarly, if the two positive charges are brought together, then also they repel each other. But if unlike charges like negative charge and positive charge, they are brought too close, then they will attract each other. Similarly, in the magnet, if the north pole of one magnet and north pole of another magnet, they are brought close to each other, then they will repel each other. But if the opposite poles are kept very close to each other, then the two magnets will attract each other and will get attached. So the north pole and south pole will attract, positive and negative charge will also attract, north pole will repel, south pole will also repel, positive charge will repel, negative charge will also repel. So all this is due to electromagnetic force. Now the third fundamental force in nature is strong nuclear force. It is the strong attractive force between protons and neutrons in the nucleus. It is the charge independent and acts only within the very short distance. So this strong nuclear force is the force which exists between the two nucleons. Both neutron and proton we call it nucleons. and this force is independent of the charge. So it does not depend upon the charge, because within the nucleus these protons are positively charged and these neutrons are neutral. The force between any two protons is same as the force between the two neutrons. So here is the structure of atom. This is the nucleus, and within the nucleus protons and neutrons are there, and outside the nucleus electrons are revolving. The strong nuclear force will exist only within the nucleus. This blue are the protons and this red are the neutrons. So there exists a force which will attract the two protons or two neutrons and hold them together within the nucleus. So these protons and neutrons are confined within very small space within the nucleus due to this strong nuclear force only. It is this force which will confine all the protons and neutrons together within the small volume of the nucleus. Now the fourth fundamental force in the nature is weak nuclear force. The weak nuclear force appears only in the certain nuclear phenomena, such as beta decay of nucleus. In beta decay, the nucleus emits an electron and an uncharged particle called neutrino. So this is the example of beta decay, where the hydrogen has been transformed into helium. This is one of the isotopes of the hydrogen, where there are two neutrons and one protons. And due to beta decay, it will get transformed into two protons and one neutron that we call the helium nucleus. And let us see here what has happened during the beta decay. So one of the neutrons of hydrogen will get transformed into proton. If the neutron transforms into proton, then the electrons will get ejected. At the same time, this we call it antineutrino, will also get ejected from the nucleus. And as a result of this beta decay, there will be two protons and one neutrons that we call the helium nucleus.